The story starts on a quiet night in 1992. A small toy boat slowly moves into a backyard swimming pool. Rebecca wakes up because she hears a strange noise. She looks out her window and sees the boat floating in the water. Her brother is very sick, and the boat is his. She runs to wake him up.
Tommy, are you awake?
But he does not move, so she makes a quiet promise. She will get the boat back herself. Rebecca goes outside and picks up a long net to reach the toy. She tries again and again, but the boat keeps moving away. Each time she tries, she gets closer to the edge of the pool. Suddenly, something pushes her into the water, but no one is there. She struggles to swim. Then she hears her mother calling her name from outside the pool. She swims up fast, but when she looks around, no one is there. The lights start to flicker. She gets scared and swims toward the edge to get out. Then, the boat appears again. She cannot resist. She swims back and grabs it. But the moment she touches it, something grabs her leg and pulls her down. A soft voice whispers one strange word, Temagami. Rebecca comes up screaming for help. But before anyone can reach her, she is pulled under again. This time, only her slipper comes back to the surface. Fast forward to the present, and we meet the Waller family, a couple named Ray and Eve, along with their 2 kids, Elliot and Izzy. They're out house hunting. And while the rest of the family checks out a home, Ray stays behind in the car, listening to baseball on the radio. He used to be a professional player, but multiple sclerosis forced him into early retirement. His head begins to throb, but when his kids call out for him, he pushes through the pain, grabs his cane, and goes inside. The house isn't a great fit, and the family leaves without much excitement. On the drive home, Ray spots a familiar-looking house with a for sale sign out front. It's Rebecca's old house, though none of them know that yet. They call their realtor, Kay, who happily shows them around. Kay mentions the home had only one owner over the past few decades. Eve loves that it's close to the school where she works, and Ray is immediately drawn to the pool in the backyard. Then, while leaning over to grab a stray baseball from the water, Ray slips and falls in. He gets tangled in the pool, covers in weeds, struggling to breathe, and just as panic sets in, he has a vivid vision of himself playing baseball again, healthy and strong. That image gives him just enough fight to break free and pull himself out.
Oh, his kid. Yep. Easy, give me help me here. What happened? Are you okay? Dad?
At his next doctor's appointment, Ray's doctor tells him to take it easy, no more playing sports with the kids. She suggests gentler activities like yoga or swimming. Ray and Eve exchange a quiet look on the way out of the clinic. They agree they're buying the house with the pool. Move-in day arrives, and the family settles into their new home with fresh energy. Izzy starts at her mom's school and on the very first day, clicks with a popular guy named Ronan, who invites her to his swim club. Things feel bright and new until the weekend. When the family rolls up their sleeves to clean the pool, Ray reaches into the drain to unclog it and pulls his hand back with a sharp cry. Something inside has sliced his palm open, blood pours out. And before anyone can process what just happened, dark brown water starts gushing out of the drain at an alarming rate. The family backs away in unease. A pool technician later explains it away calmly. The water is fed by an underground spring, with natural filtration and geothermal heating. He even tells them the whole neighborhood used to be dotted with wellness centers and health spas. The spring water, he says, is legendary for its healing properties. Just like that, the mystery gets a cheerful explanation, and the family convinces themselves everything is fine.
Here's your invoice. I'll come back tomorrow. You should be set up by next week. Hey.
Great, thanks.
Hey, Gecko, let's wrap it up. Come on, let's boogie, baby.
Once the pool is clean, they dive in for a proper celebration. Eve tosses coins into the water for the kids to find, and Ray wades in to do his usual exercises. He notices immediately that the water feels different, weightless, almost magical. Like all the tension in his body just melts away. That evening, Eve is hunched over the bills, stressed about the cost of Ray's medical care. She decides a night swim will help clear her head. Just before she slips into the water, the family cat, Cider, lets out a long, unhappy meow and trots away. Eve brushes it off and jumps in. Mid-swim, she catches a glimpse of Ray standing at the pool's edge, watching her. She blinks, and he's gone. Then the lights begin to flicker, heart pounding. She climbs out quickly, and the moment her feet hit dry ground, the lights steady themselves. She checks on the kids, then finds Ray sound asleep in bed. He says he never went outside. She tells him they need to get a pool cover and check the wiring tomorrow. Back outside, Cider is crouched on the diving board, growling at something in the water. The lights flicker again, and the little toy boat drifts silently across the surface. The next morning, Elliot finds Cider's collar floating in the pool. The cat is gone. Ray fishes the collar out, and his bandage gets soaked in the process. When he peels it off, he stops cold. The wound from the drain, the deep bloody gash, is completely healed, like it never happened. Ray barely has time to marvel at this before his next doctor's visit delivers even bigger news. After running the usual tests, His doctor stares at the results and tells him his condition has dramatically improved. Ray grins and calls it water therapy. He's been swimming twice a day, every day. And the pool seems to be working miracles, but something shifts quietly in Ray. The healing isn't just physical, it's becoming an obsession. One afternoon, Elliot finds him in the garage recording himself exercising, pushing his body harder than ever. Elliot asks his dad to come swim with him since he's not allowed in the pool alone. Ray waves him off and instead gives him a coin, one with a smiley face drawn on it, and tells him to play their usual underwater treasure game. Elliot heads to the pool alone and starts diving for the coin. Then things get strange. Coins begin to fall into the water from nowhere. Elliot thinks it's his dad playing tricks, so he pops up to check, but the yard is empty. He dives again. More coins fall, he gathers them all and glances up to see a figure standing at the pool's edge. He surfaces. No one there. Then something pounds on the diving board. He spins around. Nothing. And then a girl's voice, soft and frightened, floats up from the pool drain.
I need help.
Who are you?
My name is Rebecca Summers.
Elliot reaches toward the drain's opening, and his fingers close around his action figure, but it's tangled in hair. Before he can react, a pale hand shoots out and grabs his wrist. He yanks and twists until he breaks free, but not before catching a glimpse of a shadowy figure inside the filter. He runs straight to Eve, shaking. She rushes outside to check, but the pool is calm and empty. The action figure bobs innocently on the surface. When Ray hears about it later, he waves it off. Maybe Elliot just needs more friends, he says. Eve suggests throwing a pool party to help the kids feel more connected. No one talks about the drain. Not long after, Ray joins Elliot's baseball practice on a whim. The whole team is buzzing to be around a former pro. Ray offers tips, then hesitantly agrees to take a few swings. The first 2 tries end in misses. Then Ray thinks about the pool, the vision, the weightlessness, the strength, and on the 3rd swing, he connects so hard. The ball cracks the stitching and sends it shooting into the lights. The crowd erupts. But Elliot watches in silence, his expression unreadable. That night, Ray and Eve go out for dinner, leaving Izzy in charge. The second the car rolls away, Izzy invites Ronan over and threatens Elliot into silence. The 2 teens head out to the pool and splash around, eventually settling into a game of Marco Polo. Izzy closes her eyes for her turn and calls out, "Marco!" Ronan quietly climbs out of the pool, smirking. But what answers back is not Ronan, Polo. The voice is low, wet, and wrong. Something moves beneath the water toward Izzy. She follows the sound, hands outstretched, still thinking it's Ronan being goofy. But when she almost touches it, it simply vanishes. Then it speaks again, right behind her ear. Polo. She spins, nothing. She dives in after it. Underwater, the pool seems to stretch endlessly downward. No bottom. The lights begin to flicker, and something cold wraps around her ankle and pulls. Izzy kicks furiously until she breaks loose. Then spots a square of light above her, the surface, and drives toward it with everything she has. She bursts out of the water, gasping. Ronan is standing at the edge, looking confused, saying she was only under for a few seconds. Before Izzy can say another word, her parents pull into the driveway. Ronan gives her a quick kiss and disappears into the night. Later, Elliot tries to talk to Izzy about what happened. She shuts him down fast. The pool is helping their dad, she says. They can't ruin that, and no one would believe them anyway. The day of the pool party arrives, and neighbors fill the backyard with laughter and splashing. Izzy keeps her feet dry, watching from a distance. Elliot sets up a camera in his bedroom window, angled at the pool. Inside, Eve pulls Kay aside and asks why no one used the pool for so many years. Kay dances around the question before quietly telling her the truth. A girl drowned there. Eve goes still. She asks softly, was her name Rebecca? The shock on Kay's face confirms everything. Out in the pool, Ray has a boy on his shoulders in a playful chicken fight. They're winning. But with every move Ray makes, he sinks a little lower. Then a thick black substance seeps out of the drain and snakes into Ray's mouth. His eyes go blank. He locks his grip around the boy's legs and starts walking slowly toward the deep end. The boy thrashes and waves his hand above the water. Elliot sees it all on the camera and tears down the stairs to find his mother.
Mom, outside in the pool!
At that same moment, the boy's father spots his son's hand and leaps in. He pulls the boy out just in time. The marks from Ray's grip are visible on the child's legs. Ray is still at the bottom of the pool and has to be dragged out himself. He's unresponsive. Eve drops to her knees and starts CPR until his eyes open. The party falls apart. Police arrive. The boy's mother is furious. Her son said Ray wouldn't let him go. Eve tries to explain his illness, tries to apologize, but the mother is done listening. The boy's father, who also coaches Elliot's baseball team, says he won't press charges. But Ray is no longer welcome at practice. The family walks to the car in heavy silence. But before they even make it around the block, Ray starts coughing badly. His veins darken beneath his skin. He retches up a thick black liquid. Eve pulls the car over. They go home and put Ray to bed. The doctor can't see him until Tuesday. Eve tells the kids to stay calm, then goes straight to the backyard and drains the pool, running the hose into the water supply until every drop is gone. The next day, Eve digs into the history of the house at work. What she finds chills her. Every family that ever lived there lost someone. She tracks down Kay and gets an address for Rebecca's mother, Lucy. Lucy lives in a grand, expensive home. When Eve is shown in, she notices the woman coughing and a glass of water is quickly overfilled by shaking hands. Eve tells Lucy everything: the black water, Ray's behavior, the voice in the drain. After a long silence, Lucy begins to talk. Black tears trail down her cheeks as she explains. Before the house was built, there was a natural spring on that land. It was called Temagami, and people believed it could grant wishes, but every wish demanded a life in exchange. The night Rebecca drowned, her sick brother heard her screaming and tried to get to her. Lucy had locked his door. The water had already been using her as its vessel. She had made a wish, her daughter's life for her son's healing. Love requires sacrifice, Lucy whispers. Eve is horrified and tells her so. Then Lucy starts coughing again. The tube of her oxygen tank fills with black liquid. The room's fountain runs dark. Lucy's voice drops into something hollow and inhuman as she says, "The water will sleep again." Eve runs back at home. Ray is in the shower when the entity finds him again, this time through the contaminated tap water Eve unknowingly sent into the main supply. The drain in the drained pool begins leaking black liquid once more. When the kids come home, both parents are silent and unreachable. Izzy can't get Eve on the phone. Elliot fills a glass from the kitchen tap and watches it tremble on its own. Then he hears a faint meowing outside. He walks out to the backyard and freezes. The pool is full again. The meowing is coming from a floating pool toy. Elliot crawls out along the diving board to reach it. Without warning, a dark shape rises from the toy, pierces it with its claws, and the floaty deflates, dropping Elliot into the water. The pool cover begins spinning shut on its own. Inside the kitchen, the vibrating glass shatters. Eve arrives just in time to grab the cover handle. It fights back, shoving her away. She grabs it again, and Izzy appears and adds her weight to the struggle. Together, they stop it. Eve kicks the handle to break it, then dives in to find Elliot. She swims deeper and deeper, and the pool has no bottom. A dark abyss opens below her. She resurfaces, grabs the garden hose, and dives back in, using it as an airline to go further down. Meanwhile, inside the house, Izzy slips on pool water and lands on broken glass, cutting her hand. A creak sounds from somewhere in the house. Then Ray appears out of nowhere, eyes black as ink, water dripping from his feet. He tells her he's been looking for her. She looks down for just a second, and he's gone. She grabs her phone to call 911. Ray reappears beside her and knocks the phone across the floor. He says in a flat, wet voice that Elliot's life is difficult, that it would be better for everyone if he were sacrificed. Izzy runs. Ray grabs a fistful of her hair. She tears free and sprints to the garage, pulling the door shut behind her. The TV clicks on by itself, playing footage of Ray's greatest game before dissolving into static. Ray pounds on the door, then gives up and locks it from outside. Deep in the abyss below the pool, Eve finally finds Elliot. She grabs him and fights upward, but the souls of everyone who ever drowned in that pool close in around them, grabbing and pulling. Eve kicks free again and again, but can't find the way up. Then Rebecca appears. She tosses the smiley face coin, and Eve suddenly understands. They've been swimming downward, thinking it was up. The coin shows her the real direction. She finds the light and drives toward it. She bursts through the surface with Elliot in her arms. He's not breathing. She starts CPR. Ray looms over her, voice hollow, telling her it's too late. The pool chose Elliot. He wraps a hand around her throat from across the yard. Izzy steps out of the garage holding a baseball bat. Eve meets her daughter's eyes and gives a small nod. Izzy swings the bat into Ray's legs. He drops, she hits him again across the back, and he heaves up a mouthful of black liquid. She drives the bat into his stomach, and Ray is flooded with memories. His wedding, his kids, his best moments on the field, his wife's voice, his daughter's voice. With a wrenching groan, Ray vomits out the darkness and collapses to the ground. Himself again. Elliot coughs, sputters, and opens his eyes. The black liquid pours back out of the pool drain in thick waves. Ray understands what has to happen. The pool will never stop. Not until it gets what it wants without another word. He stands up, walks to the edge, and dives in. He swims straight for the abyss. The darkness in the pool becomes still. The black water disappears, and Ray is gone later. Elliot sits quietly watching a video on his phone. It shows Ray smiling, telling his family how much he loves them. He recorded it earlier that day in the garage when no one was watching. Eve gently puts the smiley face coin into Elliot's hand. She softly asks if they should sell the house. The brother and sister look at each other, then shake their heads. If they leave, this could happen to someone else. Their dad would not want that, so they decide to stay. They fill the pool with dirt, cover it up, and seal it closed. The water is gone, everything is quiet again, and the family makes a silent promise. They will never let Temagami take anyone again. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.